What's going on, everybody? I hope you're enjoying your Saturday morning so far. This is NYG Jeffy T85 here, and I'm going to talk real briefly about last night's game with the New York Mets and the Oakland Athletics, because let's just be honest. There's really not a lot to talk about last night's game because the New York Mets absolutely thrashed the Athletics last night in the tune of 11 hits, 17 RBIs, and the Mets, even with Kodai Senga, who has been stellar his first two starts, not having a very good pitch game yesterday, the Mets offense woke up, and it woke up in a big way as they win last night's game by the final score of 17-6. 17-6. And the big star of the entire night was Francisco Lindor, who ended up hitting a grand slam in the game. And he was able to drive home 7 runs. You got some contributions out of Brandon Nimmo, who his bat seems to have woken up a little bit. Starling Marte was able to get an RBI double. You also had Eduardo Escobar, whose bat woke up a little bit too. And like I mentioned, Senga was not great yesterday. He pitched in 4 2/3 innings, and he gave up 7 hits, 4 earned runs, 7 strikeouts, and 4 walks. Not the best game for Senga overall, but the Mets bats that have been very dormant and very quiet for the most part woke up, and they woke up in a monster way yesterday, namely Francisco Lindor. And that is the type of performance, obviously you're not going to get that game in and game out, that's the type of performance that you need from somebody like a Francisco Lindor, where he's just going to go out there and he's going to carry the baseball team when it's needed on a night-to-night basis. Lindor was fantastic yesterday at the plate. Fantastic. He also drove in 3 other runs. That's the kind of production that you need from somebody like Francisco Lindor. When you pay him the amount of money that you paid him to be your star shortstop on this team, you need him to go out there and be able to produce at the level that you know he's capable of doing. And he did it last night. He took that Oakland Athletics pitching and he tore it apart. It's a beautiful thing to see. And it's the best thing to see is that everybody's been talking about these Mets bats. They need to wake up. They need to go out there. And they need to produce. I know it's the Oakland Athletics. This team is not good. But you need to go out there and you need to take care of business against bad teams. And that's exactly what the New York Mets did yesterday. They went down to Oakland, California, and they took care of a bad Athletics team. And they dismantled them pillar to post, first to third to second to home base in the outfield. They tore them apart in that game. And I love it. Like I mentioned, Senga did not have a good pitch game. He was not good. Senga was bad. But at the same time, when you have an offensive explosion, and let's just be real, the word offensive explosion sometimes get loosely mishandled or misled. That last night was an offensive explosion by the Mets. When you score 17 runs in a baseball game, you had yourself an offensive explosion at the plate. And that team went out there and they just dismantled the Athletics. That puts their record at 8-6 now in the season. 2 games above 500. And if there's ever a game that Carlos Carrasco needs and has to bounce back, this is it. Carrasco needs to go out there and handle his business against a lesser than team in the Oakland Athletics. He needs to go out there and he needs to have himself a pitching performance that is going to ensure the Mets brass and fans that he is still going to be a capable pitcher in this rotation. They need him to. And hopefully Carrasco can go out there today and really have a vintage Carrasco performance. I know he's nowhere like the pitcher he was during his Cleveland Indians days or what he was in his first year with the New York Mets. But at the same time, this is a bad Athletics team, not a lot of talent, Mets are clearly 1,000% better. Carrasco needs to go out there and show his dominance on the baseball diamond. But this was a very, very, very good win yesterday by the Mets. And awesome job. The offensive explosion was a thing of beauty. We'll have to wait and see how the Mets are going to perform today with Carrasco on the mound. But either way, Mets win yesterday by the final score of 17-6. Lindor was the star, driving in 7 RBIs, including a grand slam. And while Kodai Senga was not great, he had an off game. He didn't need to be as good because the offense carried them yesterday. So make sure you guys hit that like button and give a sub to NYGJeffyT85. More news, updates, and chatter surrounding the New York Mets. Turn on the bell for notifications on the next video or short dropping on the channel surrounding the New York Mets. And you guys let me know in the comment section what you thought about last night's New York Mets thrashing of the Oakland Athletics in Oakland, California. And how you guys are feeling going into today's game with the Mets and with Carlos Carrasco on the mound. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great rest of your Saturday. Take it easy, and let's go New York Mets as always. All you got to do is you got to believe in those boys from Queens.